Hey guys, this is test 63 game 4. This is the ball boxes game. It's an ordering game. We know this because we have the 6 boxes numbered consecutively 1 through 6. Now in the game they say stacking, but I prefer to do this horizontally just because most ordering games are horizontal in nature, so it seems a little bit more natural. Now I've laid out some rules that I'll explain. We've got that, the 3 different colors, G, R, and W. We know that there's always more R's than W's. There's always at least one G occurring before any R's. We know that W and G have to occur consecutively in that order at least once. And then we have these rules that I've diagrammed on the bottom and on the diagram here that I'll explain. First of all, we know that since there's always a G at least before any R's, we can never have R on 1, so 1 will always be either G or W. Now I've laid out here what's called a numerical distribution, which lays out the number of things you can choose from each category. And I created this based upon the fact that we always have more R's than W's. If we have 4 R's, 3 R's, or 2 R's. If we have 4 R's, we will have to have 1 G and 1 W because we always have to have at least one ball of each color. If we have 3 R's, we will have 2 whites and 1 green, or we will have 1 white and 2 greens. And if we have 2 reds, we can only have 1 white and we'll have 3 greens as a result. So this is just kind of a bare bones initial setup for the game. Of course, we'll be doing more hypotheticals over the course of the game. So number 18 jumps right in asking us if there were exactly 2 whites, where could we have a green? Well, if we had exactly 2 whites, we'd have 1 green and 3 reds. And if we only have 1 green, we certainly can't have it on 1, because then how could we ever have a WG box? We wouldn't be able to. So for that reason, we can automatically say that we will have to have a white on 1. So for that reason, we could never have a green on 1, and A is automatically eliminated. We also know that we cannot have our single G on any of 4, 5, or 6, because then how could we fit all 3 reds after it? Remember that we always have to have a green occurring earlier than all of the reds in the game. So we cannot have a green on 4, on 5, or on 6. So for that reason, C, D, and E are eliminated, leaving B as our answer for number 18. Next, number 19, if we had greens in boxes 5 and 6, what could be true? Well, if we had greens in 5 and 6, there's a couple of different possibilities here. We know that we always have to have a WG box occurring at least once, so we could put a W on 4, and then we'd have a WG occurring consecutively in 4 and 5, or we could have G's on 5 and 6 again, but instead have, a W on 1 and a G on 2. Either of those would work out perfectly fine. And so if we had, 3 greens, of course we'll have 2 reds and 1 white. So for that reason, our reds would go on 3 and 4 in the top diagram. In the bottom diagram, we can never have 2 G's and 2 W's. Whenever we have more than 1 G, we only have 1 white. So here we're going to have a G on 1 as well, and then have our reds on 2 and 3, laying out our 2 different possibilities for what happens when we have greens in 5 and 6. They ask us what could be true. We can just run through the choices. Reds in 1 and 4 never happens in either diagram, so A is gone. Reds on 2 and 4 never happens in either diagram. We never have a single diagram with both R on 2 and 4, so B is gone. White on 1, we have that in the top possibility right here, so C is our answer. I will look at D and E though. White in 2 happens in neither, white in 3 happens in neither, so D and E are gone, leaving C. Next, number 20, they're asking us for which numbered box can we not ever have a ball that is the only ball of its color. In other words, which box could never contain a ball that is the solo for its color. Looking back at 19's diagram, we saw that we had a solo one in box number 4. We had a single white ball on 4 when there were no other white balls in the game. So for that reason, we can automatically eliminate choice C. However, we have no other previous valid scenarios to refer back to that could be useful here. So I'd recommend skipping 20 for now and coming back to it when we have more information that will allow us to more easily eliminate some wrong answer choices. Next, number 21, general must be true question. we can refer back to previous valid scenarios here to help us out. For example, number 19, we've drawn some scenarios there, and we can use those to potentially eliminate some choices for 21. But looking at A, a green ball in a box lower than 4, we had that in both of our scenarios for 19A, so we'll keep for 21A, so we'll keep that for now. Looking at B, a green ball in a box that is higher than 4, we had that in 19's diagrams too, but we can see if we can get away without having that. What if we could make a valid scenario where we put greens only 4 or lower? If we can get away with that, we can eliminate B. So looking at this one here, we could put G on 1, W on 2, G on 3, and then put 3 R's on 4, 5, and 6. This works out fine, doesn't violate anything, it works with our distribution, it works with the other rules, and we didn't have to have a green higher than 4, so for that reason we can eliminate B off the bat. Also looking to have a red lower than 4, no need for that. Looking at C, so C can be eliminated as well based upon this diagram. Of course, D and E comply with it, so we're going to need something new there. But looking back at 19 once again, we saw that in 19 we could have had no reds higher than 4. We could have had reds only on 3 and 4 or on 2 and 3. So we don't need to have any reds higher than 4, and D is gone. Then looking at E, a white ball in a box that is lower than 4. In one of 19's diagrams, we had a white only on 4 alone. Again, that was why we eliminated for question 20 choice C. So E is gone, leaving A by elimination for 21. And the reason that A must be the case is because if we only had our greens on 4 or higher, we wouldn't be able to comply with having G before R and having no more R's than W's. That's why A is our answer for 21. Next, number 22. If we had red balls in boxes 2 and 3, what could be true? Well, if we had reds on 2 and 3, we automatically know we'd have to have G on 1 because we always have to have a G going before all the R's. And then we have to comply with the WG rule here. So we're either going to have WG on 4 and 5, or we're going to have WG on 5 and 6. Either way is perfectly fine. Those are the two roads that we're going down here. And then we have R and G interchangeable on the remaining empty slots. So now they're asking us in general, what could be true? Could we have R on 1? Of course not, so A is gone. Could we have white on 1? No, we have G there. Could we have a green on 4? Yes, in the bottom diagram we could have either R or G on 4 right there. So C is actually our answer for 22. I will look at D and E though. Red on 5 doesn't happen in either, so that's gone. W on 6 doesn't happen in either, so that's gone, leaving C is our answer for 22. Next, number 23. If 2, 3, and 4 all contained balls that were the same colors as each other, what must be true? So we're breaking down into two different possibilities here. Of course, we can only have exactly 3 of either G or R. We can never have 3 of W, and we can never have 4 of W either. So we're going to have two different possibilities here. One with red on 2, 3, and 4, and one with green on 2, 3, and 4. And these are our two different main possibilities for this game, for this question. Now, of course, if we have G's on 2, 3, and 4, we're not going to have G on 1, we're going to have W there. And if R is on 2, 3, and 4, we have to have G before it on 1. Now, aside from that, of course, we have to have a WG box there, so we're going to have WG on 5 and 6 in the top possibility. In the bottom possibility with 3 G's, we're going to have 2 reds, so red's going to go on 5 and 6. And now we'll just run through the choices, seeing what must be true across both. So, must we have exactly 2 greens? That happened in the top, but not in the bottom. So for that reason, A is gone. Must we have 3 greens? We have that in the bottom, but not the top, so B is gone. 3 reds happens only in the top, not in the bottom, so C is gone. Must we have exactly 1 white? Yes, that occurs in both of these two scenarios, so D is our answer. And then looking at E, 2 whites, no, we have 1 white, so E is gone, leaving D. Now we come back to question 20, where we're looking to determine which box must always contain a ball that has at least one other ball of the same color. But now we have more previous valid scenarios upon which we can draw to eliminate wrong answer choices here. For example, back in question 21, we had a single ball of W on 2. So for that reason, we can eliminate A off the bat here. Looking at B, where we have box 3 listed, we know that it's possible to have a solo on 3 due to the following scenario. Of course, we have to play around with this one a little bit. I like to use W because W appears solo in the greatest number of distributions here. If we put W on 3, we have R on 2, we have G on 1, then to comply with the WG rule, we'll have WG on 3 and 4, then we could put 2 R's on 5 and 6, just a random scenario that helps us prove that we could have a solo on 3. So for that reason, we can eliminate choice B. Looking at choice D, though, we had W on 5 back in question number 22, and W was the only ball of that color in that scenario. So for that reason, we can eliminate D, leaving E by elimination for number 20. And the reason that E is our answer, the reason we could never have a solo ball on 6, is because if we had W as our solo on 6, we wouldn't be able to have a WG box. If we had G as our solo on 6, we wouldn't be able to have any R's after it. And if we had R's our solo on 6, well, that wouldn't work because there's never any solo R's at all. R's always at least 2, 3, or 4 of them. That's the reason E is our answer for 20.